Hi guys, and welcome to my part 3 of my thyroid cancer journey. First of all, I just want to say thank you for watching this video. Whether this is the first of my cancer journey videos that you're watching, or if it is in fact the third, I would just like to say thanks for being here. The second thing I would like to say is that if you are somebody that is currently going through a thyroid cancer journey or looking into whether maybe you could potentially have thyroid issues or thyroid cancer, I just wanted to say that you will be okay. If you ever want to reach out to somebody who has been through something similar, then please find me on Instagram and DM me like a lot of you already have, because you are the people that I am making this series for. I want to be here to give you comfort in a time that is very scary, and I know because I have been through it. Anyway guys, I want to try and not ramble too much in this video, so I am going to just quickly jump into a very brief summary of how I found out.
Sorry, I didn't quite catch that. Could you please repeat it?
Siri, I wasn't talking to you.
Okay.
Rude. Anyway, as I was saying, I'd like to really quickly just jump into a summary about how I found out that I actually had thyroid cancer. I'm not going to go into too much detail. If you want to find out a bit more information, you can watch part 1 and 2 of my thyroid cancer journey on my channel. I will link those videos just here. And I do actually have a third video it's not named part of my thyroid cancer journey. I think it's called biopsy or something. You can go back and watch that one as well. Anyway, so really quick summary of how I found out I had thyroid cancer. Back in June, I felt a nodule in my neck. My GP referred me to go and have an ultrasound done. Pretty much that ultrasound came back saying that I had a nodule on my thyroid. They graded it at what's considered a TIRAD level 5. Thyroid nodules are graded between a 1 and a 6. TIRAD level 5 is over an 85% chance of being cancer. It was hard, it had calcifications, just the characteristics of it were very suspicious. So I was then referred to go and get a biopsy done on my nodule. I went and I had that biopsy done. 3 samples were taken from the nodule, and then about a week later the results came back saying that it was benign and that it wasn't cancer. At that point my GP pretty much just said that to follow up with another ultrasound in a year. I said I wasn't happy and I wanted a referral to an endocrinologist. So I went about doing research to find who I wanted to book in with, and I ended up booking in with the head of endocrinology for all of the Western suburbs, Western Health in Melbourne. It took me a bit of time to go in and see him. I think it was probably about a month and a half. So I went in and I saw him, and he agreed that the ultrasound was very suspicious, but that he also agreed that the cells that had been taken from my nodule did clearly show that there weren't any cancer cells in that biopsy. But to be on the safe side, he referred me to have a second biopsy done, and that second biopsy was actually done with his brother, who is also a doctor. So I had that done, I think, a week later. So his brother did the biopsy, and then I think it was literally the day after I got a phone call from my endocrinologist saying that I did in fact have thyroid cancer and that my nodule was cancer. So at that point, I got booked in for surgery pretty quickly. I think it was about a week and a half later. So I went in to have I think it's called a hemithyroidectomy, which just means they're taking out half of your thyroid. Because my cancerous nodule was on the left-hand side of my thyroid, and if you didn't know, I think nowadays they prefer to try and leave as much of your thyroid intact as possible. Anyway, a bit of a long story with that. So I was booked in for surgery. I had my surgery done. I stayed overnight in hospital, and then I was discharged the next day. While they were in there doing surgery, they also went in and they took, I think about 7 lymph nodes surrounding my cancer, because then that gives them a good indication of whether the cancer has spread anywhere. And that gets you up to speed with where I would have left off in part 2 of my thyroid journey. So pretty much where I'm at now, I've had 2 things done. I have had the results come back for those lymph nodes, and I have also had my 6-week post-surgery blood test done to test my thyroid function. So surgery was on the 2nd of September. I got discharged on the 3rd, and then I had my first surgery follow-up appointment booked for the 14th of September. So I went in on the 14th very apprehensive, because I knew in that appointment they were going to give me the results for the pathology of the lymph nodes that they took from around my thyroid cancer. And that was going to tell them whether my cancer had spread anywhere outside of the nodule and whether it had potentially spread anywhere else in my body. Now, one thing I do want to mention is the type of thyroid cancer that my nodule was, and it was a papillary cancer, which is the most common type of thyroid cancer, but I do believe it is also the most curable. Don't quote me on that, but I'm fairly sure that papillary cancer is the most curable. So I went into my appointment on the 14th, and it was a different surgeon that I saw, and she said that all of the 7 lymph nodes that were taken from around my cancer, all of them were negative for cancer cells. So that says to them that my cancer had not spread anywhere outside my little 1.5 centimeter nodule. Another thing that I do want to quickly add in here, because I have had a lot of questions from people going through their own thyroid issues, their own thyroid cancer journeys, is whether my blood work prior to finding my nodule or having surgery, whether my blood work showed that there was anything abnormal going on. And there wasn't. So that is something that's interesting, in that it wasn't my blood work or symptoms that made me find my thyroid cancer. It was literally just that I felt like I had a lump in my throat, and I was feeling my neck one day, and then I noticed a lump, and that's what triggered it. My blood work was completely normal. Even though I had cancer, it was completely normal. So that's just something that I wanted to add in there, because it is a question that I have been getting from quite a few people. So on the 14th of September, obviously I found out that the cancer had not spread anywhere, which was fantastic. So that was one hurdle done and dusted, out of the way. And then it was on to the next thing. Now, the next thing that I knew that I had to wait 6 weeks for was my post-surgery thyroid function blood test. So pretty much, if you didn't know already, your thyroid plays a pretty major role in regulating hormones in your body, particularly when it comes to your metabolism. So when you either have a full thyroidectomy, where they take out your whole thyroid, or if you have a hemithyroidectomy like I had, where they took out half, they need to check what those hormone levels are doing, and they do that through a blood test. So I had that blood test done this week? No, last week. I had it done about 6 days ago, went into hospital, had the blood test done, and it was a TSH blood test, which is thyroid stimulating hormone. So they did that blood test, and then I got a call today with my results. And my results show that my little right-hand side of my thyroid is doing an A+ job of keeping me normal. My thyroid hormone levels are completely normal. I did ask the surgeon on the phone what was considered to be normal. So she said that anywhere between 0.5 and 5 is considered normal, and my levels are at 2.27. So she said that there is absolutely nothing abnormal going on there. She also asked me if I had had any symptoms since surgery, and I guess that is the next thing that I want to touch on. So after surgery, obviously there were some things that were related to my wound and the healing process and everything, but in terms of any other symptoms of maybe my thyroid being underactive, I have had no problems whatsoever. I have considered myself to be back to normal for probably about a month now, I'd say. Yeah, about a month. I've felt normal. She did say that some of the most common symptoms that they get are whether you have an unexpected weight gain, whether you're gaining weight quickly, whether you feel cold all the time, whether you feel tired and fatigued, like abnormally tired and fatigued, that sort of thing. And I have not had any of those symptoms whatsoever. One thing that I did notice though, and I asked her if it was related, and she seemed to think that it wasn't, but I would be interested to know whether anybody else who's had this surgery done had similar symptoms, is that I've started getting headaches. Not bad headaches, but very regular. And I'm somebody who has never really suffered from headaches whatsoever. Like I just don't get headaches, and I've noticed that I've started getting them. The other thing that I have noticed is that I've been getting a bit of joint pain, which again is abnormal, but that might also just be part of getting older, who knows. But anyway, she said that it wasn't anything to be concerned about. If I was concerned, to speak to my GP about it, but she didn't feel it was related to my thyroid surgery at all. Now, I am going to touch on the sort of like healing process, and in particular the wound. And I'm just going to do a close-up now so you can see what my scar looks like. I would say that it's probably still not 100% healed. Like if I push on it, there's still a tiny bit of tenderness, but I'm well aware of the fact that it's like, I had my neck cut open. I had muscles in my neck cut open. So it's like, of course it's going to take time to heal. That is normal. And to be honest, I actually really like my scar, and I'm kind of hoping that it doesn't fade anymore, because I am proud to wear this. And I see people staring at it all the time. And it's a good conversation starter. Like if you go out to a bar and you want to meet somebody, they're like, hey, what happened to you? It's like, well, wouldn't you like to know? Anyway, I'm going to do a close-up now. So as you can see, the swelling that was around in this whole area has really pretty much gone down almost the whole way. I would say my neck looks pretty normal now. Obviously it is still very red, the scar. But before it was actually really quite bumpy, like I guess where the dissolvable stitches still were under the skin. It was quite lumpy, but it is pretty flat now. And like I said, all of the swelling around the area has really died down as well. Before it sort of looked like I had like a little egg under the surface of my skin, but that has pretty much gone down. It did stay tender for a really long time. It's still a tiny little bit tender now. That's obviously something that if you are going to have surgery, something to be mindful of. I'd say probably the absolute worst part of this whole thing, like surgery and the recovery process, is that after you have surgery on your neck, I suppose subconsciously you don't move your neck as much, like you're not moving it around, because obviously it's sore and it's swollen, and consequently as a result of that I got really bad neck and back pain, I guess because all my muscles seized up in the back of my neck. And so I was having to go and get regular massages to help work that out, because that was definitely the most painful part of it. In terms of pain rating for the actual recovery and the surgery, not bad at all. I'd say getting your lips done hurts more than this hurt. Like, sure, it was tender and like it hurt to move my neck side to side, particularly in the week after surgery, but I wouldn't say that it was a painful process at all. So if you're somebody that you're going to have to go in and have surgery done and you are really nervous about the pain side of it, I would say don't worry about it. You really don't have to be worried about it. I'm just trying to think if there's any other questions that I have gotten from people that I can add in here, because I am shocked and amazed, and I also just feel so grateful the number of people that have reached out to me because of this series and because I have put it out there that I had this surgery. And that is one thing I really want to encourage, is that if you are somebody and you are going through something similar, or you might end up going through something similar and you're just in those beginning stages of finding out what's going on, then please, please, please reach out to me, because I would love to be there for you. I would love to offer some support or to give you some comfort, or if you have any questions, please reach out to me on Instagram, DM me, and I am more than happy to answer your questions and be there for you. Another thing that I do just quickly want to touch on, and it is specifically for the people who are going through this and who have potentially been diagnosed with thyroid cancer, is that one thing I noticed was when I told people in the beginning that I was diagnosed with thyroid cancer, obviously most people were very sympathetic, very understanding, but you will also probably come across somebody who says, oh, but thyroid cancer is really curable, or you're lucky that it's just thyroid cancer because it's super curable. Those people will never understand what it feels like to have cancer, unless of course they have already had cancer themselves of some kind. So when they tell you that you're lucky that it's only thyroid cancer, just remember that they're not you, they're not in your shoes, because I can guarantee you, hearing the words you have cancer, no matter what kind of cancer it is, are really freaking scary words to hear. And you are allowed to be scared, you're allowed to be upset, you're allowed to be irrational. Don't ever doubt that what you're going through isn't one hell of a battle, because I had a few people say that to me, and I will tell you what, I'm sure that they were coming from a place of love, trying to comfort me, but those words did not help me at all. So if somebody says that to you, just remember they're probably just trying to comfort you, You are just as entitled to be upset and to be stressed and to be whatever you feel. So pretty much where I go from here is that my surgeons have recommended that because I am all in the clear, that because they didn't find cancer anywhere else surrounding my nodule, because my blood tests have come back completely normal, I now only have to go and get an ultrasound done in 12 months. That is the recommended process going forward. I am the kind of person though that it's like I like to take things into my own hands, and I will be going and getting one done at 6 months post-surgery, just because I know that that will make me more comfortable. And there's nothing wrong with doing that. I feel like you should always follow your gut instinct, and my gut instinct tells me that I should probably go and get another ultrasound done 6 months post-surgery. Particularly because when I had my original ultrasound done, there was a really tiny little nodule that wasn't suspicious at all, but another really small little nodule on the right hand side, so small to the point that they couldn't even biopsy it. My endocrinologist was not concerned about it at all. Lots of the general population do have nodules on their thyroid and they never turn into cancer. They're not cancerous, they're nothing suspicious. But seeing as I have already had a cancerous nodule, I would just like to monitor that one a bit more regularly than every 12 months. I suppose I want to wrap up this video with a message to anyone that is going through something similar, and that is follow your gut instinct. If you get results back and you're not happy with it, seek a second opinion, seek a third opinion, seek the advice of your friends and family, the people that love you. Because I mean, I am a prime example of you cannot always trust the health system, and that is the case with any system really. But if I had just gone with that first biopsy result that said I didn't have cancer, I would still be sitting here today not knowing that I had cancer. And if I'd left it for longer, who knows what could have happened. But I followed my gut instinct, and I went and I sought a second opinion from somebody who specializes in the area that I had an issue with, and I would highly recommend you do the same. I have already spoken to a couple of other people who have had the same thing happen, and I say to them, get another opinion. I know that it's really nice to get results back saying you don't have cancer, but if your ultrasound is suspicious, or if your blood results don't look right, or if you've got strange symptoms, then what is the harm in going and getting a second opinion? Nothing. There is no harm. So just go and do it if you want to. And I guess the very last thing I want to say is this has been one hell of a journey. And even though, I mean, it happened for me pretty quickly over the space of, I'd say, 2 months from finding out that I had cancer to where I am today, it's still been a life-changing event for me. And it has been a positive event for me. And I just want to put it out there that if you get diagnosed with thyroid cancer or any other kind of cancer or illness or anything, I promise you there are always positives in your situation. And although it might be so freaking hard to focus on those positives when you feel like your life is crumbling around you, I really encourage you to try your hardest, because it will pull you through. And I am living proof of the fact that something really bad can happen to you and you can end up a better person from it. I am so grateful for the friendships I have developed, for the people I have met, for being able to be a comfort to people on the other side of the planet that have reached out to me. I cannot tell you how grateful I am for each and every single one of you that has reached out to me, and for each and every single person that I know or that I don't know that has given me love or wished me luck or said that they're happy for me, because all of those things mean so much to me, and I honestly feel like they have contributed to me being where I am today, being perfectly fit and healthy when only 2 months ago I was diagnosed with cancer. My life is back to normal now. In fact, I would say my life is better than it was before. I feel like I have a better appreciation for all of the things that maybe we miss in day-to-day life. I now appreciate those things so much more. I also have so much more confidence in myself, and I can't tell you why. Maybe it's because I know how strong I am for getting through this, but I just feel like I am a happier, more grateful, more confident person because of this. Alright guys, if you have made it this far, congratulations, thank you. I know I've rambled a little bit in this video, but I really just wanted to keep it pretty just raw and honest, and I don't know, I just wanted to tell my story, and I really hope that in telling my story, in sharing my story, I can help somebody else out there. So yeah, thanks so much for watching, guys, and like always, I cannot tell you how much it means to me every time I see one of you subscribe to my channel. It honestly touches my heart. So if you have enjoyed this video or any of my other videos, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button, because you'll make me a very happy Maggie. Until next time, guys, if you have any questions, leave them below or reach out to me on Instagram. And as always, lots of love.
Life is a winding road, no telling where it goes.